and welcome to MediaWhorz. Today we'll be concluding our TV section with the 2010 series Human Target. So let's see just how crazy Guerrero is as I throw it to the round table.
The basic premise of the series is you have Christopher Chance, who, like the pretender before him, seems to be skilled at everything. He uses this power, and it is a power, to act as a bodyguard.
It's not just that he's a bodyguard. He's the type of bodyguard to walk into a minefield and set off every mine and say problem solved.
One of the interesting things about his bodyguard business is that he doesn't always get paid. His business has sort of a Cowboy Bebop sensibility to it.
What happened to the $1 million Wulong reward we got for that last guy?
The repair bill for that cruiser you wrecked, and the one from that shop you trashed, and the medical bill from the cop you injured. Kill the dough!
Well, he doesn't necessarily get paid in money.
Yeah, some of the more interesting items he's collected include some awesome booze and a papal ring.
Well, anyway, he protects his clients by bringing them into the open and having the threat reveal itself. Hence the title.
And then he plays pseudo Dr. Phil by fixing all their emotional and family problems.
He doesn't necessarily fix them. He addresses them, but then he leaves them to sort those issues out. When it comes to the characters, well, you've got your main character, Christopher Chance, who is played by Mark Valley,
whom we haven't seen since Fringe.
I actually didn't like him that much in Fringe. I found him a little annoying, partly because his subplot didn't really have much to do with the direction of the show. And that being said, I liked him here.
Oh yeah, he's charismatic, he's funny, he gives a shit.
He gives a shit in the right way.
Doesn't that just usually require that he sit down?
He doesn't say we have to do it his way. It's just that if you don't, you could die.
He's pretty much a sense of whimsy, given human form.
Nobody deserves to die, and frankly, after seeing your behavior this afternoon, I think Lydecker deserves a medal for putting up with you for as long as he did.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna take the gun away from you. Guns are dangerous enough for messing around.
You think I'm messing around?
I think we've been here for what, 6.5 hours? I'm tired. I missed lunch. Enough already.
Are you crazy?
Am I crazy? I'm assuming that was a rhetorical question.
Now, one of the cool things that I like about this season is that they only give you pieces of his backstory, and they leave it to the viewer to piece it together. Until the last episode.
Plot dump ahoy!
Well, it's not really too horrible. We find out how he got his name, we find out how he relates to the other characters we haven't met yet. I really like the little interaction between him and Winston, where we find out Winston's first name.
Laverne Winston. Yeah, I got a name sounds like a girl's name. I also carry a .45. I got a history of disciplinary problems, and this ain't my first drink today, so you got another comment?
You can call me Connie.
As much as I love Christopher Chance's personification of whimsy, as Cora called it, it would not have been as funny to watch without the busybody of Winston to call him out on his erratic behavior. I still think that his best line was,
Look, I don't give a damn how many unknown variables there are. Yeah, you think I'm joking, right? Look into my eyes. I'm not joking.
Watch the road, will you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you feel unsafe? Hold on a second while I flip the car upside down, and maybe you feel better.
He's played by McBride, who actually lost a lot of weight since House.
But just in case, I special ordered an extra jumbo-sized coffin.
I really like him, both in this role and in general. I don't think I've seen him turn in a weak performance.
he's a good actor, and he has a lot of presence, and he plays an important role. He also knows how to play a good straight man.
No. He isn't just the straight man. Because he has his moments where he's like, fuck you, I'm gonna tell a joke now.
Like one of my personal favorite scenes.
You hold your gun like a cop. From what I understand, cops don't go around shooting people.
I'm retired.
And finally, my favorite character, Jackie Earl Haley as Guerrero.
That man personifies terror. That guy could kill you 8 ways over breakfast tea.
he could kill you 8 different ways with breakfast tea.
Haley was probably the best part of the Watchmen as Rorschach. But to be honest, I'm more scared of Guerrero than I am of Rorschach. You know Rorschach is crazy, but Guerrero seems sane. However, you know that's not true, so you're scared of what he'll do next.
I love this character, and I like how in many ways he's a complete mystery throughout the entire series. I love the scene where they introduced him. That was one of the most memorable scenes in the show for me.
I gotta warn you guys, this gets violent. I'm gonna fight back.
You think you're gonna fight back?
Alright, maybe fight back's a little misleading. I'll take the beating, because that's all you 2 amateurs are cleared to do, and then one night soon I'm gonna break into your houses and kill each of you and your slave. Probably start with you, Alfredo. That way Steven here can have a few extra days with Marla and the girls. It's only fair.
How do you know my name?
Your employer keeps sensitive information on a drive he thinks is secure. It isn't.
I love that. Whenever he's there, he's just randomly showed up. It's like he just walks in. It even gets to the point where they're like, dude, we were expecting you an hour ago. It gets to the point where they expect him to show up whenever they have a job. You never see them calling him to let them know they've got a job.
I just love how, no matter who he's talking to, it's always...
Hey, dude. Dude.
Now, as for the actual plot of the series, we sort of get a bunch of one-shot episodes. And I've got to say, the individual episodes never really stood out as a whole. It was set pieces that made an impact.
Mostly what you remember is the interactions between characters and what you think you learn about Chance.
There is one thing that I think you should remember. It's the episode in the monastery.
Oh, that random moment of geekiness.
So he has to sacrifice himself to save the one true Earth.
I don't get it.
What don't you get?
Well, in this one, he dies.
Right.
And then suddenly, in this one, he's alive again.
Exactly. See, the Anti-Monitor wants to destroy all the Earths in the multiverse, right? But in order to prevent him from using the antimatter cannon, the Flash has to give up his own life. And then he comes back. Like Jesus.
I think one of the most memorable episodes in the entire series was the one with Baptiste.
Baptiste was good, but the major elements of that episode were somewhat forgettable. The concept was that Baptiste was trying to pull off a political assassination to prevent peace negotiations between 2 warring countries.
This guy's so good that he takes out heads of state, and nobody even knows it was a murder. He's a ghost. Somehow, you know that he's here. You know his methods, you know his resume. How is it that no one else in the world knows this, but you do?
Because I trained him.
A lot of the episodes are rather weak. If they could make one improvement to the series, it would be this. Story arcs. Devote 2 to 3 episodes to story arcs.
Give us overarching villains. Give us somebody who's targeting Chance.
Well, we have the old man, but he's presented more as one of the characters of Chance's past, rather than an outright threat.
There's that organization that wants something from Chance at the end of the season, but they're hardly used.
They don't do anything with it. It took me forever to put 2 and 2 together and figure out that they were the ones who hired Guerrero earlier in the season. You could have done so much more with it. Have Chance walk by some people who are sitting in a car drinking coffee and reading a newspaper. Provide us with some clear sign of a stakeout. Have something to make us go, wait, what the fuck's going on?
But like I said, there were some set pieces that worked well, due to either the humor or the action that was involved. Like the one where the district attorney has a tracker in her stomach.
And Chance almost gets her to strip.
So somebody's tracking you? Why isn't she naked yet?
You tried that already.
It felt like the plots of the episodes were there to drive character interactions. The secondary characters weren't that memorable.
There is something I have to say about the interactions with the secondary characters. Whenever he has to rescue a woman, he's like this close to getting into her pants.
I really like the theme music. When you watch the opening, you feel like you're watching something in the vein of like the American version of James Bond. The funny thing is, we chose to review this show the day it got canceled.
I hate the season 1 cliffhanger.
I thought you liked the cliffhanger at the end of season 1.
No, now I have to watch season 2, and I thought I was done. But moving on, we should talk about the set pieces, at least our favorite ones. There were a few that were really, really good.
Well, what's your favorite?
My favorite is from the train, when the window breaks and Chance throws the assassin out, and all we see is a red splat. I was like, oh my god!
And you?
My favorite was when they were in the upside-down plane.
My favorite, aside from that opening scene with Guerrero, is probably a set piece from one of my favorite episodes. It's the one where Chance is skydiving down into a secure government contractor's building.
And ends up landing on a 2-foot ledge? You can't do that! As soon as the wind caught his shoe, he should have fallen to his doom. But he didn't, and it was so awesome!
There's not much to talk about beyond this point. The plot doesn't really go anywhere, but they have some pretty good set pieces that they use to round out most of the episodes. The characters are fun to watch and well acted, which, given the fact that they didn't have a real plot, seems really amazing. The lack of a consistent plot and the fact that most everything that happens is not really memorable ended up hurting the show a bit. But I can't hate the series because I loved the characters so much. I think I'll give it a high bargain bin.
Yeah, I wish I had watched this when it was on air, because who knows, maybe my viewership could have prevented its cancellation. Maybe I was the one dude that they needed to watch this show. It's good, and I actually really like it. I would have watched it had I been aware of it and bothered to look into it. I really like the characters and basically everything that's done with it. The fights are really well shot, the acting is amazing, and the little references they make are so much fun. So I'm going to have to give this an abduct a friend. You should drag your friend out of whatever hole they've been living in, probably the same one I was, and make them see this.
I'm surprised to say it, but I'm probably the most reserved when it comes to this. I really like the character interactions. That's what carried the show for me. Chance is amusing, and his banter with Winston works very well. Guerrero was always tactfully underused, but the episodes themselves were usually, I hesitate to say weak, but they failed to leave much of a lasting impression. Ultimately, I certainly enjoyed it, and I suppose that the lack of a strong impression would actually provide a certain level of rewatch value. But in terms of leaving an impact, the series just wasn't that great. It's a solid bargain bin for me. I would actually like to own it in some ways to provide my support for it. I enjoyed the show, and I am a little upset that it never took off.
With 2 bargain bins and 1 abduct a friend, the MediaWhorz consensus is bargain bin. So hey, maybe this show can hire Christopher Chance to protect it from the Fox producers. We should really get Jimmy back from wherever he is.
But how?
Phantasm! If we realign the multiplex meter, we may be able to solve the problem of the multiphasic variation to allow us to synchronize the harmonics of the temporal directionals by realigning the lithium crystals. Thus, as long as the flux reading remains above 42 millijoules, we'll be able to stabilize the electrostatic field matrix. If we then reverse the polarity of the neutron flow, we'll be able to open a stable temporal distortion and retrieve our erstwhile companion. Oh, I'm back. Why does everything taste like pineapple?
This is what I wanna be, and this is what I give to you because I get it free. She smiles while